Special standards comparison. First one, SA 800, audit of special purpose financial statements. SA 805, audit of specific elements, items, accounts, single financial statements. SA 810, audit of summary financial statements. SRE 2400, review of historical financial statements. SRE 2410, a review of interim financial information by auditor of the entity. SAE 3400, examination of prospective financial information based on best estimate assumptions or hypothetical assumptions or mix of both. SAE 3402, assurance reports on controls at service organization on suitability of design of controls and operating effectiveness of the controls. Operating effectiveness of the controls is discussed in Type 2 report. SAE 3420, assurance report on compilation of pro forma financial information included in a prospectus. Next, in case of SA 800, CA is referred as auditor. In case of SA 805, CA is referred as auditor. In case of 810, CA is referred as auditor. But in case of SRE 2400, CA is referred as practitioner. Next, in case of SRE 2410, CA is referred as auditor. In case of SAE 3400, CA is referred as auditor. In case of SAE 3402, CA is referred as a service auditor. In case of SAE 3420, CA is referred as practitioner. Next, whether, as per SA 800, whether special purpose financial statements are prepared from audited financial statements? No. As per SA 805, whether specific elements or items or accounts or single financial statements are prepared from audited financial statements? Yes, it may be audited or not audited. Next, in case of SA 810, whether summary financial statements are prepared from audited financial statements? Yes. Next, in case of SRE 2400, we review historical financial statements. It may or may not be prepared from audited financial statements. Next, in case of SRE 2410 also, it may or may not be prepared from audited financial statements. In case of SA 3400, it may or may not be prepared from audited financial statements. In case of SA 3402, it may or may not be prepared from audited financial statements. But as per SA 3420, these are based on unadjusted financial information, whether audited or unaudited. Next, assurance types. In case of SA 800, we give true and fair view or compliance framework. We will give true and fair view or compliance based on compliance framework. Next, in case of SA 805, we give true and fair view or compliance framework opinion. Next, in case of SA 810, we give whether summary financial statements are fair or not. Fair summary of whether they are fair summary of audited financial statements. In case of SRE 2400, we give limited assurance, that is conclusion. Limited conclusion will be given in SRE 2400. Next, in case of SRE 2410, limited assurance, that is limited conclusion will be given. In case of SA 3400, negative assurance is given. In case of SA 3402, positive assurance based on suitability criteria will be given. Suitability criteria regarding system description, fair and suitability of the design of the controls relating to the control objectives as stated in the service organization's description of internal controls, that is whether as per control objectives of the business. Plus, in case of type 2 report, we will discuss about operating effectiveness of the controls. Next, in case of SAE 3420, we give positive assurance, and compliance framework types also we will discuss, and pro forma financial information, we will give this opinion based on pro forma financial information prepared in all material respects as per audit criteria or basis given. In case of SA 800, 805, 810, SRE 2400, auditor or practitioner need to be independent. In case of SRE 2410, SAE 3400, SAE 3402, SAE 3420 also, the auditor or practitioner need to be, or service auditor need to be independent. Next. Financial reporting framework, whether it is general purpose framework or special purpose framework. As per SA 800, it should be special purpose framework. As per SA 805, it should be general purpose or special purpose. As per SA 810, it is based on applied criteria to prepare summary financial statements. As per SRA 2400, it may be general purpose financial statements or special purpose financial statements. In case of SRE 2410, it may be general purpose financial statements or special purpose financial statements. In case of SAE 3400, it should be non-historical information. Financial reporting framework may exist under law or regulation or else. As per SAE 3402, non-financial information based on service organization's description of system and assertion on control. As per SAE 3420, the applied criteria is based on law or regulation or standard setting organization are developed by responsible party. Next. As per SA 800, in case of modified report, we need to follow SA 705 need to be followed. Next, in case of SA 805, in case of modified report, we need to follow SA 705, and it depends upon modification in the audit report on audited financial statements and report provided separately or not. Next. As per SA 810, in case of modified report, whether modified report can be given in case of SA 810, that is summary financial statements, answer is yes. No opinion if audited financial statements given are has given adverse or disclaimer opinion, and qualified or emphasis of matter paragraphs or other matter paragraphs should be given. If qualified or emphasis of matter paragraphs or other matter paragraphs are given, then reproduce it. It can give as separate opinion. Next, modified opinion. In case of SRE 2400, modified conclusion can be given or can withdraw from the assignment. For this case, emphasis of matter paragraphs, other matter paragraphs, other information, laws and regulation responsibilities reporting as per SAS are also applicable to this SRE 2400. In case of SRE 2410, modified report can be given if not as per applicable financial reporting framework, or withdraw from the assignment, or resign from annual financial statements audit as well. In case of SRE SAE 3400, qualified adverse disclaimer opinion can be given, or the auditor can withdraw from the assignment. In case of SAE 3402, modified opinion can be given if suitability of the design and system description is not a fair presentation and no operating effectiveness exists, that is type 2 report, and controls relating to control objectives of the business are not SD. SD means suitable or as per suitability of the design, and unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. In such a case, modified opinion can be given. As per SA 3420, if permitted by laws and regulations, can give modified report, else withdraw. Emphasis of matter paragraphs is permitted. Next, report distribution. As per SA 800, there may be a restriction for the distribution of the report. As per SA 805, there may be a restriction for distribution of the report. As per SA 810, the condition is, as per SA 810, the condition is it may be issued with audited financial statements or without audited financial statements. In case of SRE 2400, there is no restriction regarding distribution as per SA 2400. It is not specified in SRE. Next, as per SRE 2410, SRE 2410 also does not talk about the restriction on distribution. As per SA 3400, restriction need to be specified in the report only. As per SA 3402, report distribution is only for user entity and user entity auditor. As per SA 3420, report distribution is only for pro forma financial information users given in the prospectus. Next, Sufficient and appropriate audit evidence is required or not. As per SA 800, it is required. 805 required. 810, it is not required. That is not applicable. And in case of SRE 2400, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence is required. Sufficient and appropriate evidence is required to form conclusions. Next, as per SRE 2410, sufficient and appropriate evidence is required to form conclusions. As per SA 34000, as per SA 3400, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, sufficient and appropriate evidence is required on estimates, preparation and presentation, and consistency to GAAP. Whether we need in case of checking for this purpose, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence is required. As per SA 3402, sufficient and appropriate evidence is required for checking the design of the system and suitability of the design and operating effectiveness throughout the period or not, exist or not. In case of SA 3420, sufficient and appropriate evidence is required whether to check whether pro forma financial information is prepared as per audit criteria. Next, who can be appointed as an auditor? In case of SA 800, any person can be appointed as an auditor. And as per SA 805, auditor or other than auditor, only if practicable, can be appointed for audit purpose. As per SA 810, auditor of the audited financial statements can only be appointed as an auditor. As per SRE 2400, practitioner is other than auditor of the entity's financial statements. As per SRE 2410, auditor of the financial statements, annual financial statements, should be the auditor. As per SAE 3400, any person, either auditor or else other person, can be appointed as an auditor for audit purpose. As per SAE 3402, any person can be appointed. SAE 3420, any person can be appointed for audit purpose. Next, procedures. As per SA 800, audit-like procedures, and we need to follow SAs. As per SA 805, audit-like procedures, and we need to follow SAs. As per SA 810, only to check summarization procedures, we need to apply the audit procedures. In case of SRE 2400, inquiry and analytical procedure and other review procedures are used. In case of SRE 2410 also, inquiry, analytical procedures and other review procedures are used. In case of SAE 3400, examination procedure to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence will be used. Examination will be used. In case of SAE 3402, understanding risk assessment procedure, compliance-like procedures are mostly used. In case of SAE 3420, presentation of pro forma financial statements, additional procedures if source of unadjusted financial statements are unaudited, audit criteria suitability needs to be checked, adjustments of events or transactions as per applicable financial reporting framework needs to be checked, and accounting policy to unadjusted financial information needs to be checked. Purpose or limitation specified in the report. As per SA 800, there is a purpose or limitation will be specified in case of special purpose financial statements. As per SA 805, if the framework is special purpose framework, then limitation or purpose will be specified in the report. In case of SA 810, description of summary financial statements and where audited financial statements are available or not will be specified in the report. As per SRE 2400, it will not be specified in the purpose or limitation will not be specified in SRE 2400. In case of 2410 also, the purpose or limitation will not be specified in the report. In case of SAE 3400, the purpose or limitation to be specified with caveat that prospective financial information is not same as actual financial information. As per SAE 3402, a statement of limitation of control and risk to project operating effectiveness of the current controls need to be specified in the report. As per SAE 3420, the limitation or purpose should be specified in the prospectus only. Next, difference between SRS 4400 and SRS 4410. 4400, agreed upon procedures. 4410, compilation of financial statements. In case of SRS 4400, CA is referred as auditor. In case of SRS 4410, CA is referred as practitioner. Next, whether source data of SRS 4400 or SRS 4410 is prepared from audited financial statements? No. Next, type of assurance. In case of SRS 4400, we give no assurance or opinion. In case of SRS 4410 also, we will give no assurance or opinion. Whether these persons auditing needs to be independent or not in case of SRS, answer is no. Financial reporting framework, whether general purpose or special purpose, for SRS 4400, it is not applicable. For SRS 4410, it is applicable, both general purpose and special purpose. In case of modified report, we will discuss factual findings as per SRS 4400. In case of SRS 4410, we will either report or withdraw. Next, SRS 4400, report distribution is restricted. In case of SRS 4410 also, report distribution restricted. Whether sufficient and appropriate audit evidence or sufficient and appropriate evidence is required to be obtained in case of SRS 4400 or 4410, answer is no. Who can be appointed? Any person can be appointed for audit purpose, for doing that engagement purpose, not audit, for review purpose, for both SRS 4400 and 4410. Procedures, audit-like procedures as per SRS 4400, as per SRS 4410, we need to do understanding, compilation, discuss, and read. Purpose or limitation specified in the report. In both the cases, SRS 4400 and 4410, purpose or limitation will be specified in the reports.